everybody, it's Catherine, and last weekend I found myself in a little bookstore in Beijing, China, and they surprisingly had an English book, so I was just sitting on the ground reading through a bunch of stuff, deciding what I wanted to get. Realized that there are about 8 to 10 weeks of summer left, depending when you guys go back to school, and I want to finish a bunch of books on my reading list. So here are 8 to 10 titles so that you can pick your own speed if you want to do more or fewer that are going to be more fulfilling than Netflix, because I find that, after I'm watching Netflix a while, I feel like my time's been wasted, but time spent reading a book is never wasted. So the first category I'm going to talk about is comedy, so comparable to if you're watching like Orange is the New Black, so things like that. Just China things. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a big autobiography nerd, especially when it comes to my girl Amy Poehler. She just came out with her autobiography last October. It's called Yes Please. If you haven't got on that, definitely read it. It's got a really crisp writing voice, so if you want to feel like you're inside Amy Poehler's head, go for that one. Next, I just downloaded the audiobook Modern Romance by Aziz Ansari, who, if you didn't know, is also on Parks and Rec with Amy Poehler. So his book literally just came out in June and is going to be phenomenal. I haven't read it yet, but it's all about the modern notions of romance, and Aziz Ansari actually holds one of my favorite quotes to this day, which goes something like this: I see people getting married after a year and a half. A year and a half? Not really enough time to get to know someone to know you want to spend the rest of your life with them. I mean, I've had sweaters for a year and a half and I'm like, what the hell was I doing with this sweater? So true. So if you agree with statements like that and you kind of want to hear about how texting, social media have changed romance, he paired up with a sociologist and of course his funny self in the book, so check that out. Modern Romance just came out, is guaranteed to be a good read. And then third in the comedy category, I read this the winter break before the last one, and it's a book of poetry, which may sound a little unstimulating to you guys, but this book of poetry is written by none other than Bo Burnham, who is pretty much a god here on YouTube. He is so intelligent and so funny. So his book is called Egghead, or it's called Egghead, and then it has like a long colon title-y thing that I don't even know anymore. But it's basically just a really, really short book, a ton of poems that you'll probably read like 6 times over because the jokes in them are so snappy, so crisp, so witty that like you will realize what they mean pages after you read them. Category number 2 is going to be books that will make you more intelligent, because I know during the summer, Netflix won't exactly do that for you, but if you're looking for books that are kind of more like the Mad Men side of things, a little bit more intelligent, well composed, then here are some things you might like. First, a staple, if you haven't read it, Freakonomics is incredible. It's by 2 world famous economists, and they both go into behavioral economics. So basically a bunch of weird phenomenon. They actually mentioned it in Orange is the New Black, talking about why the crime rates have gone down, and it actually had to do with an abortion ruling. Also talking about the school system in Chicago and how districting affects people, and just basically how the way you behave is dictated by factors you don't exactly correlate with yourself. Really, really good read. You might have hated your high school economics course, but this is completely different and so phenomenal in so many ways. Kind of on that theme, written by another economist, Dan Ariely wrote a book called Predictably Irrational and goes into why we behave in ways that kind of contradict economics and the logical behavior of what we should do. So I haven't actually read this one yet, but it is on my reading list, and I know it's going to be really, really entertaining and teaches you more about how you operate yourself, which just changes your world for that week or that month that you remember all the topics talked about in that book. Next is a book called Switch by Chip and Dan Heath, and Switch is all about how you change hard behavior, how you get over addictions and lazing around and stuff, and how to really impact your life and get into a routine of something. And then last is a title called Make It Stick by Peter Brown, and this is talking about education. So I know I talk a lot about learning in my videos, how to get straight A's, all of that, how to study, and this book is perfect for that if you want to know how to increase your abilities. My philosophy TA last semester told me about this book because he was telling me that to prepare for our final, you can't just read over your notes. You need to go through and write flashcards out. And I did that for my final set of finals, and I actually haven't looked at any of my grades for last semester because I'm a psychopath. But I'm hoping that did help me, and a bunch of different strategies like that that are kind of more challenging to do, but definitely help you in the long run, and it really tests your assumptions about the way you think you learn. third category is for those of you that want to be a little more cultured this summer. You want to do some things that'll make you a little more interesting. So for those of you that have been binge watching documentaries, I know Colleen Ballinger on YouTube loves to do that. So if you want to make yourself a little more cultured, here are 3 titles I really recommend. First is Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg, across the board recommended by everyone. It isn't just a novel for women, it's about how to lean into your life and gain opportunity. A lot of it does talk about sexism in the workplace, internalized sexism, and how both genders are holding themselves back, really. Chock full of great statistics and everything, and really teaches you about the way the work field is working right now and what you can do to help. Next is a book by Nicholas Kristof. Basically, he wrote a book called Half the Sky, detailing stories of underprivileged women, basically. Third world countries, how these women are living. A lot of them experience really, really horrible acts of violence, really ridiculous codes of conduct for their cultures and everything, and how the Western people can benefit those people. So it's a little touchy. Definitely read it with a grain of salt, but when I read it, I just fell fully into it, and it made me want to go volunteer in Africa, and it's still something I definitely want to pursue later. Talks a lot about microfinancing and how one little small change in the community can help groups and hundreds of women grow. It's fantastic. And third, this is the book that's probably most interesting to me this entire summer and really helped you learn more about yourself and how you fit into the culture of who you're surrounded by. This book is called Personality Types, and it's all about using something called the Enneagram. This book's written by Dawn Rizzo, and originally my mom made my whole family take an 150 question test, and it's kind of like your horoscope or your astrology, or if you know about Myers-Briggs types. It basically there are 9 different types of people, and you will definitely see yourself in one of them. And I think I have a lot of trouble with those kind of personality assessments, because a lot of times you just see yourself in an attribute because you want to see yourself in that attribute, not because you actually align with that. But these Enneagrams actually are super, super accurate. If you're wondering, I'm an Enneagram type 8. I really like to do things the right way, not my way, not your way. I like to do things the right way. I'm a leader. I'm really headstrong, independent, proactive, those kind of things. So it teaches you a lot about yourself, and anytime I write about myself or talk about my strengths, Enneagrams really help. So definitely read the book, figure out what type you are by taking the test, and your world will be changed because of it. Those are my 10 titles. Spend your time on Netflix all you want, but books are out there. If you haven't read before in the past 8 years or past 1 week, go for it. Pick out a book. A lot of these are under $10 or in the $10 to $15 range if you buy them on ebooks, and they're worth the investment because you will be so much better for them, and you'll be able to talk about so many cool things after you read them. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Make sure to subscribe if you'd like to see more, and Cather out.